Awakening isn't anything I'd recommend to my friends. As I said, as I said in our last conversation, awakening is cruel. It is cruel in so many ways. No, I wouldn't recommend it to my friends because then they would blame me for it once they were emerged into its depths, of course. No, so I say, please, dear friend, keep both eyes closed for as long as you possibly can. But you know, in spite of my advice to those with two eyes closed, in spite of my advice, one eye is going to awaken sooner or later anyway. One eye is going to start peeking because there's something within the eyes of the blind who can feel that others are starting to open their eyes as well. And you know how humans are. They just want to get a peek. But in awakening, there are no peeks. No. There is not a peep show in awakening. The men laugh, of course. Because once the eye starts to open, once the awareness starts to come in, you can't stop it. Once you have a little bit of awareness, it begs full awareness, full awareness. It has been my pleasure to work with all of you over these past few years as your eyes started to come open, as that one eye grew open, wide, big, as you came to this point of stopping, saying, I'm not sure it's such a good idea to open that other eye. And I would tell my friends, and I would tell Shambra, then don't. Then don't. But in spite of what I say, that other eye is going to come open. It is going to come open in spite of you. And it's going to come open because awareness desires more of itself. Awareness continues to ask for more awareness, for the dissolution of false realities, for the awareness of itself, and ultimately the feeling, the experience of love for itself. So that other eye will come open, and you can resist it. You can try to force it shut. You can go so far as to sew it shut, and it will come open. That's also the good news. That's also where we are. Somewhere in between being blind and having vision. Here we are. Answers. It was just a time to smile. But my dear friends, it's both. It's this openness to the transformation that occurs. And I'm going to talk more about that in just a moment. But the transformation is absolutely brutal and thorough. Brutal in a way that sometimes you wished you had died in the middle of the night without pain. Brutal, it comes over every part of you. Enlightenment isn't about just having a little better human life, but enlightenment will get you a better human life. But you can't put the better human life first, but so many on the spiritual path actually do. So many who I've worked with in the past, in the mystery schools, ones who have been my students, and even the ones who have allowed their enlightenment, have said that it was all about the enlightenment. Have said that nothing mattered more than their enlightenment, but yet their everyday actions and their thoughts and their choices, probably choices being first, were not about enlightenment. They were about really just trying to have a little better human life. And this sets up a tremendous conflict, a huge conflict that each and every one of you are facing in your everyday lives. You say you want enlightenment. Most of you don't even know what enlightenment is. Not from up here, but you know it from in here. But you say you want enlightenment. But yet the day-to-day actions and choices are really about just a little better human life. You feel it so deeply, this thing called enlightenment, but you sell out so easily for this thing called a little better human life. Every one of you knows exactly what I'm talking about. Every one of you knows the contradiction that you live within. No doubt. Today we're here to let it be okay to have that contradiction. It's natural. No sense in trying to fight it anymore. Tell yourself that you're doing a bad job with this thing called enlightenment. Wonder where you're going to get the next new message that's going to put it all together. My dear friends, it's natural. This whole conflict between a better human life and true enlightenment, the whole conflict between what is happening for each and every one of you, a transformation of the truest and the deepest sense. It is happening for every one of you here, watching online, watching later, no doubt about it. And also this tendency to sell out to a better human life. So today, one of the things I'm asking of each and every one of you is to be okay with that. To be absolutely, perfectly okay with that. This thing of enlightenment, as good as it sounds, is so brutal, so unforgiving in every way. The moment that you have the realization of your awakening, the moment that all that whole transformation and realization starts, it will go in to every part of you, uncover every deception, every macchio, every limitation, every thing that is held in an unnatural state of consciousness. You're going to resist it. You're going to hold on to things. You're going to say that you're spiritual, think that you're spiritual, and it's going to come along and show you in the most brutal way that you're not. Because spiritual itself is one of the very things that will keep you from enlightenment. Absolutely. This thing of enlightenment, it doesn't define itself, it doesn't know itself as being brutal. It knows itself as being compassionate. It knows itself, this enlightenment, this realization, it knows itself of cleansing all that dirt and grease and tar and accumulated junk from your life. And there's that part of you that's going to try to hold on to it. That part of you that's going to try for a better human life. That part of you that at one point is saying, I want enlightenment, I'll die for enlightenment, but the other part is clinging on to an identity that is not real. Not real meaning that it's false. Not false, it's limited. It's not real because it's not the whole thing. It's not real when you're just trying to focus on happy spiritual times, on joy and peace to the world, because it's not the whole thing. The whole thing is also the agony and the profundity and the pain and the realization and the nothingness all at the same time. And the enlightenment, the I amness, this wave of, it's actually wave after wave of enlightenment that comes in, is going to keep coming in. It's going to keep in an unrelenting way until you are released from the limitations of consciousness. Yeah, well, you say that now, all right, but Also, as a side note to that, whether you understand it right now or not, this is the best time of any of your lifetimes. The best time right now. Now, some of you go, oh, jeez, really? But there'll come a point where you look at it and say, it was an amazing time of playing hide and seek, an amazing time of allowing myself to wake up, an amazing time of having this awakening dragon tearing at me and me resisting, an amazing time of creating illusions and continuing old belief systems, an amazing time where these dynamics of my own awakening were bringing me through the process, even though I seemed to be resisting, an amazing time of being stripped of things that no longer serve me, things I really didn't want, an amazing time of transitioning. You realize that a butterfly or a caterpillar, as it goes through the process of turning into a butterfly, you realize that it's in this transformation. It is being crushed. It is being disintegrated. And that caterpillar coming into being a butterfly is going, this is amazing. It hurts, but it is amazing. I don't know what's going to happen, but wow, nothing like it. And that's what you're going through. So allow yourself, in spite of, yes, the difficulties and the problems, most of which are not yours to begin with. They're about other people. They're receiving ideas and thoughts and feelings that are coming from mass consciousness that are not yours. But in spite of that, this is the most amazing time. So I asked before why we don't just snap our fingers and have all this mastery stuff happen instantly. It's for the experience you just went through, that deep realization of forgiveness. It's not like a church religious forgiveness. It's the wisdom. It's actually tapping into your own wisdom. That's it. Tapping into the I exist. That's it. Well, I asked before, why don't we just snap our fingers and have this all happen? We can have the lights back up, please. Make this all happen. Well, I'll leave on this analogy. The caterpillar. Going through such an experience of being a caterpillar, but knowing that it's really not a caterpillar. Goes through days and weeks and months as a caterpillar, finally has something inside beyond its caterpillar mind that says, it's time, I got to get out of here. This is not me. This really is not me. Been an experience, love your other caterpillars, time to go. I'm out of here. You can try to hold me back, but I'd rather die than not achieve my greatness. And it goes through the transformation in the cocoon. And it's aware, something's changing. And there's part of it that's cursing these changes, being trapped in this cocoon, but part of it's saying, this is amazing. Wow, here I am, getting rid of all these legs and all this greenness, but here I am, I'm actually aware that I'm changing. So that when I become whatever I'm going to become, I'll know exactly how I got here. A caterpillar saying to itself, yeah, it's part of me that's, oh, geez, what have I done? I could have just been another caterpillar. Part of the caterpillar going, shit, I thought that was unsafe. This is really unsafe. Because nobody has a manual on how to do it. And I did hear somebody say there is a red caterpillar called Satan pillar that's going to get me because I've let myself, but I don't care. I don't care because I cannot stay like what I was. I know there's something more, and I haven't been able to define it. I haven't been able to articulate it, but God, you too, God, caterpillar, God, you're a bunch of bullshit. There is something beyond God. And I know it, and I'm going to find it no matter what. And in this knowingness, I also know that in spite of the fact that this is an unsafe caterpillar world within my being, all is well in all of creation. Thank you, dear Shambra. Be safe. Be safe. Thank you. Thanks. Thanks, Josh.